Hello, welcome back to some Strat-O-Matic baseball. Working on my 1961 Cincinnati Reds replay. It is Tuesday, June the 20th, 1961. St. Louis Cardinals are in town to take on the Reds. We have a 4-game series starting with a doubleheader on Tuesday. We have played the first game of that doubleheader, which the Reds were able to win 11-8. This is game number 2. Our pitching combatants will be Joey J., who has an 8-2 record with a 2.98 ERA. He will be opposed by Bob Gibson, who is 5-3 with a 2.92 ERA. So should be a good pitching matchup. So this was, again, 1961, so people like Gibson and Koufax were good, but they weren't quite as good as they were into the mid and late 60s. But still, should be a good pitching matchup. The Reds are 39-23, still find themselves trailing the Giants, who are still overperforming from real life. Hopefully they'll cool down and we'll be able to catch up. Kind of running away from the pack, these two teams are. So far, the Reds are 7-2 versus St. Louis. So we've kind of had our way with the Cardinals. So anyway, without further ado, we'll jump right in and get going here. Leading off for the Cardinals is Julio Gotay. I may be pronouncing that. He's hit .538 limited play, just 13 at bats. He has a double. Again, Joey J is a right-handed pitcher. He's just over from Milwaukee. He has spent his career with the Braves up until this year, and as you can see in real life, he had a pretty good year at 21-10 with a .353. Julio Gotay bats right. That's a 4-8, and he's going to lead off with a walk. Get right here, so not how Joey J wants to start things off. Gotay has good speed at a 15, but he is not a threat to steal. So we will play behind him at first. That'll bring up Carl Warwick, who's hitting a robust 118 with a couple RBIs. Playing center field for the Cardinals today. He is a B bunter, so we will have the corners in. And they will indeed have him bunt away. He bunts it. It's fielded by Freeze at third, and he'll go to first for the out. And that'll move Gotay, again, who runs at 15, at a 15 to second base. That's a sac bunt for Warwick. Say 5-4 for out number 1. That brings Bill White to the plate. He's hitting .274, 8 home runs, 40 runs driven in. Left-handed hitting first baseman for the Cardinals. 1 out. Gotay on second base. That's a 4-10, and that's going to be lofted out to center field. Veda Pinson, who's a fine fielding center fielder, will run that down. Gotay will scamper back to second, and they're 2 away. Ken Boyer, third baseman extraordinaire, hitting .317, 8 home runs. He's driven in 27 runs. Got Cunningham on deck, who's a lefty. Joey J is a little better versus righties, but not a ton. Looks like Ken Boyer is not a clutch hitter. His 3.5, 3.6, 3.9, and 3.10 all turn to pop-ups with a runner on second and 2 out, or second or third. So we'll go ahead and take our chances with Boyer. He gets a 2-6, and that's going to be 2 hop down to Freeze at third base, and he will set and throw across the infield to Coleman, and that will do it for the Cardinals in the first. So they get the lead runner on, but strand him at second base, and we've played a half an inning here in Cincinnati. The Reds are Cardinals nothing. The Reds coming to bat. Again, Bob Gibson taking the mound. He is 5-3 with a 1 save. 2.92 ERA. Again, he wasn't quite Bob Gibson yet. I think 68, where he really climaxed or hit his peak. Eddie Casco, the Red shortstop, right-handed hitter versus the right-handed throwing Gibson. He's hitting .294, home run and 22 RBIs. He's having a fine year at short for the Reds. He gets a 2-4, and that's a ballpark single check. And versus a righty, we have good weather, by the way, here at Crosley Field. And he will get a single. So that's a 2-4. We got a 10 on our 20-sided die. So he slaps that up the middle past Gibson's ear. And the Reds have their leadoff runner on. So he is not an automatic lead, but they are holding him on. Gibson holds at a 0. Schaefer, the Cardinal catcher, has a 0 arm. So Bossingame, who is leading the National League in sacrifice bunts, will be called on here to do it again. So here's the pitch from Gibson, showing bunt, lays it down. Schaefer, the catcher out from behind the plate, will look to second, but he'll decide to go to first. And the Reds have Casco, who runs at a 15 on second base. Sack bunt, 2-4. 1 away for Veda Pinson. Left-handed hitting center fielder. He's hitting .329, 12 home runs, driven in 44, 19 doubles. He doesn't walk a lot. He does have 10 stolen bases, as you can see there. So Veda Pinson, and also a Gold Glove caliber center fielder. So that's a 3-6, and that's a 2-star single, and the Reds jump out 1-0. So that'll be the 45th run driven in as he slaps it by White under White's glove, and they'll call that a hit. Casco will score easily. Cunningham will throw it into the infield to hold Pinson to a single. And the Reds are out 1-0. So Pinson is a good hand to steal. So 2-5, 11-12, he'll get a lead. And again, Gibson and Schaefer, neither one are doing much to prevent that. So let's see if he can get a lead here. Not able to, 1-8, so we won't attempt that. So it looks like Pinson will not get his 11th stolen base. So that bring up Gus Bell, playing left field today, oddly enough. For some reason, typically Frank Robinson plays left, but every once in a while they move him to right and Bell to left. They do the same thing when Wally Post is playing. So I'm not for sure why the Reds manager was doing that, but at any rate, Gus Bell's hitting .327. He's 3 home runs, driven in 10, 7 doubles. So he's had very good success in 113 at-bats. So the Cardinals obviously at double play depth here. That's a 5-5. Uh-oh, that's trouble. And that is going to be hit deep. 5-5, got a 4 on the 20. So he drives that to deep center field. Warwick is back, and that one just clears the fence. Home run number 4 for Gus Bell, as he is overperforming from his real-life stats just a bit. So 2 RBI. The Reds are up 3-0. So that's the 7th home run given up by Gibson. And his ERA goes up to .327, so that'll bring Gordy Coleman. Gibson's a little better versus righties. He's a 2R. So that'll bring up Gordy Coleman, the Red first baseman. He's hitting .258, 9 home runs, driven in 29. Gibson trying to stop the bleeding here. Still just 1 out. That's a 5-10. And that's a ballpark single check, but we got a 19. So that's a 5-10. 19. So he will hit that back to Gibson. Gibson fields it, throws him out. So 2 away here in the top of the first, or bottom of the first rather. All right, 2 away, nobody on for Frank Robinson, who was dropped down in the lineup. I think in real life he wasn't hitting quite as well as he is in my replay, so I think they dropped him down in the lineup a little bit, which is okay. So he's hitting .340, 24 home runs, 62 RBI, so he's overperforming substantially, especially in the home run department. It'd be interesting if I was doing the American League to see how he was comparing Damaris and Mantle at this point, because 24 at this time of the season is pretty impressive. So here we go, Gibson versus Frank Robinson. This is why I love this hobby. That's a 6-6, and he's going to draw a walk. So Bob Gibson not sharp today. He allows yet another red runner on. So Robinson, if he can get a lead, has got a pretty good chance of stealing this base. So we will see if he's able to. 19%. And he's not able to. 1-8, so we won't attempt that. So that brings up Gene Freeze, another Cincinnati Red who's overperforming substantially. He's hitting .361, 19 home runs, 55 runs driven in. So he's about almost 90 points higher than his real life. So I assume he will average out. That's a 5-9, and he's going to strike out. So that'll be the first strikeout of the day for Bob Gibson as he closes out the Reds first. Strikeout swinging for out number 3, but they collect 3 runs on 3 hits, no errors. They leave 1 runner on. We've played 1 here at the second game of this doubleheader, day-night doubleheader here. And the Reds are up 3-0. So Joey Jay's been given a early 3-run lead. See if he's able here to hold it, as he will start off the second with Joe Cunningham hitting .316, 6 home runs, 33 runs driven in. That's a 111, and that's grounded to short. Casco will field it in the hole, backhanded, set and throw, long throw across the infield, and he gets the Cunningham, the right fielder, 1 away. Charlie James, playing left field for the Cardinals, is hitting .263. He has 10 runs driven in, 5 doubles. Righty versus righty here. That's a 211, and that's going to be a ballpark check, and we got a 4, so that will indeed be a hit. Again, 1-11 for lefties, 1-15 for righties. As far as the home runs go, it's 1-8 for both, as you can see there. So that's going to be a single for James as he bounces it up the middle. First base hit of the day for the Cardinals. So he is not an automatic steal, but we are going to hold him because he gets the lead on 4 and 5. He runs at a 14. So we got 1 out, and Jimmy Schaefer stepped into the right-handed batter's box. He's hitting .414 and just 29 at bats with a home run and 5 RBIs already. 3-8, 1-11's a single, and he gets a 12. So that's going to be slapped hard on a line to Freeze, and he will just barely catch that one before it gets by him. And that'll be out number 2 for the Cardinals here in the second. So he hit it hard, but Freeze is able to get to it. That'll be 2 out. Bob Lillis, he started the season with the Dodgers. He's hitting .276, a couple RBIs. So 2 out. James on first. It's a 3-9, and that's hit hard to short right at Casco. And he will field that with no difficulty. And he'll throw on to Coleman, and that retires the Cardinals in the second. So no runs, a hit. Another runner left on. We go to the home half of the second. The Reds up by 3. Got 8, 9, and 1 due up for Cincinnati here in the second. Gibson trying to settle down, see if he can improve on his first inning performance. Zimmerman is hitting .181, 6 runs driven in. That's a 6-8, and he hits it down to short. Gote, who is not a good fielder, will get this one, however, and he'll throw out the slow Zimmerman for 1 away. Joey J, he hit .090. Again, I'm using the real pitcher's card, so I just do this as a placeholder, so you won't be able to see that because it'll be on the computer screen. So a little more realistic, and I like that. So that's a 5-7, so you will see that one. Joey J's a switch hitter, and he will fly out to center field for out number 2. So just gets under a Gibson fastball, hits a little blooper out to Warwick, and he will come on and put it away for the second out of the inning. So 2 out, nobody on for Eddie Casco. He singled and scored his first effort of the game. Gibson looks into Schaefer for the sign, and here is the pitch. 6-6, and he walks. So walk number 2 given up by Bob Gibson today. The other one was to Frank Robinson last inning. So Casco might try to run here. Blasting game sacrificed his last time. We'll go ahead and let him hit away here. That's a 2-7 versus a righty. That's a fly ball out to right field. So Gibson, or a blasting game rather, pulls the fastball, but Cunningham is there. And that'll do it for the Reds. So Gibson, better results this inning. As the Reds leave another runner on as they've stranded 2 now. We go to the third. 3-0 Cincinnati. Gibson will lead off the festivities here in the third. He hit 197. In real life, he did have a home run. That's a 5-9. Oh, that's trouble. That's a 17, and that's going to be a double. He did have 5 of those in real life. So Gibson taking matters into his own hands. Manhandles a fastball, and he will hit it to deep center field. Pinson won't get to it. And Gibson will slide into second with a double. So not how Joey J wants to lead off this inning. So Gibson, and he's also a fine runner as he runs at a 14. So we got some speed out there at second. So nobody out. Julio Gote up. He walked in his first at bat. That's a 5-6, and that's slapped down to Freeze at third. I believe he will be able to keep Gibson at second. Fires on to first, and Gibson will indeed have to hold at second as Gote grounds out, not able to advance the runner, and that brings up Carl Warwick. He had a sacrifice bunt in his first at bat of the day. 3-10, and that's slapped down to third base once again. And once again, Freeze will look Gibson back to second. Fire on to Coleman for out number 2. Bill White, he hit a fly ball out to Pinson. Not much of a clutch hitter either as his 2-7 turns into a pop out. So we'll go ahead and take our chances here with Bill White. That's a 1-3, and he will hit a little roller down the first base line. Coleman will field it, take it to the bag himself, and that'll retire the Cardinals in the third. So leadoff double by Gibson goes to waste. They've left a runner on each inning. We go to the home half of the third. Cincinnati Reds 3, St. Louis Cardinals nothing. 3, 4, and 5 due up for Cincinnati here in their half of the third. Vada Pinson had an RBI single in his first at bat versus the Hall of Famer Gibson. That's a 6-7. That's a second base X. With Lillis is a 4-16, so not the best fielder ever. Let's see what he's able to do with this one. Gets a 15, so he will get to it, and he gets a 12 on the error check. So Lillis will make this play. 1 away. Gus Bell hit his 4th home run. Driven in 2. He's got 12 RBI for the year. So Gus Bell, who not a Hall of Famer, I don't believe, but he did have a fine career. That's a 2-8. That's hit hard down to second base. Lillis will field this one as well. Throw out Gus, 2 away. Gordy Coleman, he grounded out to Bill White in his first at bat. That's a 1-7, and that's trouble. So Coleman gets a hold of that one and hits it over White's head down into the right field corner. Cunningham will play it on the carom, and Coleman, who doesn't run well, will get into second with a stand-up double. So I didn't look how many doubles that was for him. I'll have to see when his next at bat comes around. So he runs at a 9, so not very quick. But we got Frank Robinson rather, coming up. He walked his first at bat. Oddly enough, Frank is not a good clutch hitter, even though he had 124 RBI. So see if he can avoid the 1-6 here, and the 3-2 and the 3-11. They're going to pitch to him. He gets a 4-9 and he walks, so they're not going to pitch to him. So that's the second time Robinson has walked today. The third walk overall given up by Bob Gibson. So that'll bring Gene Freeze to the plate. Again, having a fine year, 359, 19 home runs, driven in 55, all in the top 2 or 3 in the leaders in National League in all 3 of those categories. He struck out to end the first, however, in his first at bat. That's a 4-9, and he walks. So Gibson a little wild. He did walk 119 in 211 innings. So he proceeded to load the bases here. He's got the light hitting Zimmerman to deal with, but still, anybody with a bat is dangerous. Zimmerman grounded out to short to start the second, so bases loaded. And Zimmerman is not a good hitter, and he's even less of a clutch hitter. His 2.5, 2.6, and 3.4 all turned to pop out. So the odds here are in Gibson's favor, but you never know. That's a 5-7, and he will strike out. So he checks his swing. They appeal to the first base, and he is rung up by the first base umpire, Ed Sudol. So that'll do it for the Reds. So they don't score any runs, get 1 hit, no errors. They leave the bases crammed. So good job by Gibson there to keep the deficit to 3. We have played 3 here in Cincinnati. Reds up by 3. So Ken Boyer will lead off. He grounded out to third to end the first inning. That's a 5-8. 1 would have been a double, but as it is, he will fly out to center field. 5-8. Got a 10 on the 20-sided die, so Pinson will get to that one away. Joe Cunningham, he grounded out to start the second to short. Take his second crack at Joey J. Getting the tower here. That's a 5-9. And that's trouble. That's hit deep. Got a 3 here. That's hit deep. Robinson will admire that one as it's in right center field. That's home run number 7 of the year for Cunningham. And the Cardinals are on the board. They've cut the lead to 2. As Cunningham hammered that one. And Chris James, he has singled in his first at bat. Or Charlie James, rather. 3-2, and he's hit by a pitch. So Joey J plucks James. I imagine that might have had a message behind it. This is 1962 baseball, or 61 baseball, rather. So James will be held on, and that'll bring Jimmy Schaefer to the plate, the catcher. He lined out to third in his first at bat. So not sure that was a wise decision, putting the tying run at the plate, but we'll see how it works out. But he proceeds to strike out Mr. Schaefer. Swing and a miss, strike 3. It's 2 away. That's the first strikeout recorded by Jay today. And that'll bring Bob Lillis to the plate. Bob grounded out to end the second. 2 out. James on first. 1-9. And that's a 1 hopper back to the mound. Jay fields it. He'll walk it over to Coleman. Underhand it. And that'll do it with the Cardinals in the 4th. They do get a run on a hit. No errors. They leave a runner left. We go to the bottom of the fourth. It is now 3-1 Cincinnati Reds. Got 9, 1, and 2 due up for Cincinnati. Bob Gibson takes the mound for his fourth inning of work. Joey J flied out in his first at bat of the game. That's a 1-7, and that's another fly out as he lifts it to center field this time. Now just a second, I hit the wrong button. Good thing for the undo last play, so we will do that. And let's try a 1-7 this time. So that's hit out to Warwick in center field, not very hard. And Warwick will retire Joey J for the second time today, 1 away. Eddie Casco is singled, scored, and walked. Didn't get any further than first base when he walked in the second. That's a 6-9, and he will proceed to go down on strikes. Strike 3 called. Nice curveball by Bob Gibson. Number 3 of the day, 60 strikeout of the year. So Casco left there with the bat in his hand. Will walk back to the dugout, 2 away. Last in game is sacrificed, bunted, and flied out to right field. He gets a 2-5, and that's going to be bounced back to the box. Nice reflexes by Gibson as he will come up with it, throw him out. And for the first time today, the Reds are retired in order. So Gibson getting into a groove here. 4 in the books. Cincinnati Reds 3, St. Louis Cardinals 1. All right, Bob Gibson will lead off. He proceeded to double his last at bat. Joey J will obviously try to do better this time. That's a 4-6, and he will do just that as he will strike him out. So Joey J bearing down. Gibson with a wave and the miss on the fastball. 1 away. Strikeout number 2 of the day for Joey J. Julio Gote will step to the plate with 1 out, nobody on. He gets a 3-7, and that's a hit on a line out to center field. Pinson will take a few steps to left field and put it away for out number 2. Quickly 2 away here in the St. Louis 5th. And Carl Warwick, who is 0 for 1 with a sacrifice bunt. 6-4, that's a shortstop X. Casco is a 227, so we'll see if he can come up with this one. And he gets a 15, so he will come up with it. A 13 on the error check, and will make the play. So nice play by Casco to retire Warwick. And Joey J returns the favor and retires the Cardinals in order. We go to the bottom of the 5th. The Reds up by 2. Trying to win both ends of this doubleheader. Again, they've had their way with St. Louis this year so far at 7-2. Vada Pinson will lead off. He's got an RBI single and a ground out to second to show for today. 6-11, and that's another hard grounder that Lillis will get to. 1 away. Gus Bell hit that 2-run home run back in the first and has grounded out to second as well. 1-4, and that's going to be a ballpark single check, and he will indeed make it to first. Again, good weather here tonight as he lines one up the middle. His second base hit of the game. He continues to overperform just a bit. So he is being held on by White. Gordy Coleman doubled his last at bat. That was his 11th double of the season. So write that down while I got it there. So I don't think we're going to try to run Bell. Let's see what Gordy Coleman can do. 2-7, and he gets a 1-star single. So he hits it to center field. Bell holds up at second, waiting to see if Warwick will catch it. He's not able to. So the Reds get 2 runners on here in the 5th. Frank Robinson, not the guy that The Cardinals one up at this point. He's walked twice today, however, leading the league in home runs and RBI with 62 already. He gets a 3-8, and that's going to be popped up on the infield. So Bob Gibson wins this battle as Frank Robinson gets under a fastball. Cote will wave everyone off, and that is an important second out for Bob Gibson. So it's up to Gene Freeze. He is struck out and walked. Here's the pitch from Gibson. 1-8, and that's hit hard down to third baseman Boyer. Boyer with a good glove will field it cleanly, and he'll throw on to White, and that'll do it. So Bob Gibson doing a good job of holding the Reds at 3 runs. They get none this inning, 2 hits, leave a couple on. They've left 7 on this game so far. Hopefully that won't come back to haunt them. We go to inning number 6, 3-1 Reds. All right, 3, 4, and 5 due up for St. Louis. Bill White will lead off. Left-handed hitting first baseman is 0 for 2 today. That's a 2-9, and that's a slap the other way. As he goes to left with an outside fastball, but Casco is there and throws him out for one out. 1 away. Ken Boyer is 0 for 2. 2-10. That's lofted the other way as well as he slaps it to right field. Robinson will get to it for out number 2. Joe Cunningham has accounted for the Cardinal run with a home run back in the 4th, his 7th of the year. 2 away, nobody on. 1-4, and Joey J will get his revenge and strike out Cunningham this time. Checks his swing. They appeal to the third base umpire. And Frank Sikori rings him up for out number 2. Or out number 3, rather. And for the second inning in a row, Joey J has retired the St. Louis Cardinals in order. All right, 5.5 down. The Reds still holding on to a 2-run lead. All right, Jerry Zimmerman. We got 8, 9, and 1 due up for the Cincinnati Reds. Zimmerman's 0 for 2 today. That's a 5-5, and that's going to be trouble. Gibson hangs a changeup. Zimmerman powers it into left center field. James or Ward, neither one will get to it. Zimmerman, who's not a great runner, chugs around first and goes into second, breathing heavily with a double. I don't remember how many doubles that was for him. I'll have to check when he comes back around. So that'll bring up Joey J, who's a C bunter. I always hate to bunt. I don't mind bunting with first and second, but with a guy on second, I always, if you fail, then you've got a runner on first. Whereas typically if you fail with a guy on first, you still have a guy on first. So I'm going to let Joey J hit away, see if maybe he can pull the ball. And that's a 3-6, and he's going to loft it out to left field. So tardy on a Gibson fastball, and James will track it down for out number 1. That brings up Casco. He's 1 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout and a run scored. 5-10. It's a ballpark check, and he's a righty. Needs a 15, and a 15 he got. So that'll be a 1-star variety. So we'll call that an infield single. So the Reds have him on the corners. The Cardinals are going to bring the corners in. Try to cut off the run if it's hit to third or first, trying for the double play up the middle. That brings up Blasingame. Is 0 for 2 with a sacrifice bunt. Casco not going to try to steal him. We'll see what happens here. That's a 6-8, and that's going to be, he's going to pull it to right field, and that's going to be deep enough to get Zimmerman in. So a pretty good deep fly ball because Zimmerman doesn't run well, but that'll give the Reds another run and get that run back that they lost in the 4th. So nice job by hitting there. Sacrifice fly 9, out number 2. RBI for Blasingame. Again, Blasingame started the year with San Francisco and came over to the Reds and been their regular second baseman. All right, Veda Pinson. We got 2 out. Casco on first base. The Reds lead back to 3. It's a 6-9, and Pinson will go down on strikes. Gibson with a fastball down and away, right on the corner, and he is rung up by the home plate umpire, Tony Vinson. That'll do it for the Reds, but they get a run on a couple hits, no errors, leave another runner on. We go to the top of the 7th. It is now 4-1 Cincinnati. All right. You got Charlie James, the left fielder for St. Louis, leading off here versus Jay. He is singled and hit by a pitch after Cunningham's home run. It's a 2-8. He needs an 8 to get a single, and he gets a 10. So he will be retired. I have the computer to not do pop-ups on that. That's the one thing that I have the computer do, which is doesn't change the results any, but he lines it off the end of the bat to Blasingame, out number 1. That brings up Jimmy Schaefer. Schaefer's 0 for 2 today. 2-9, and he will proceed to strike out as Jay records his 4th strikeout of the game. He takes the pitch, strike 3 called. Schaefer doesn't agree with that call, but he will be struck out nonetheless. So 2 away. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in a row retired by Joey J, as he will focus his attention on Bob Lillis, who is 0 for 2, and they're going to bring Stan Musial in to pinch hit. That's lefty Stan Musial, so that'll do it for Lillis today. So Stan the man is hitting .296, 4 home runs, 26 runs driven in. Not a typical Stan the man year, but still a good year by other standards, but a little bit off for him. Of course, he did only hit 372 at bats. So Joey J will focus on Musial, a bit more of a challenge than Lillis. That's a 4-7, and he's going to draw a walk. It's the second base on balls allowed by Jay today. That'll bring Gibson to the plate, so it'll be interesting to see what St. Louis does here. So it looks like at this point in the game, they had 2 managers this year. So at 33 and 41, looks like they still had Solly Hemus. So they're actually 29 and 29, so they're doing a bit better than they were in real life at this point. So Solly Hemus, to see if they will allow Gibson to hit. Nope. They're going to send in a pinch hitter and Red Shane Deast. So going with the veterans here. Switch hitter Red Shane Deast. Pinch hit. He's hitting .306. 4 runs driven in. Musial on first, runs at 11. Coleman will play behind him. Here is Shane Deast. Joey J, we get a 2-2, and that's popped up and foul ground. Coleman over by the railing will be able to collect it, and that'll do it for the Cardinals. So we got our 7th inning stretch here. It's actually a foul out 3. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 runner left on. All right, time for our trivia. In 1969, this Oakland outfielder hit 47 home runs in a season, the most up till that time for the ball club. Who was he? So I'm going to go with Reggie Jackson on that one, is my guess. Reggie Jackson it is. All right, so Al Seacott, who I believe is the great nephew to, Eddie Seacott, one of the Black Sox. He'll come in. He actually lost the first game of this doubleheader, so we'll see if he can fare better this time around. So I don't know if I've heard it pronounced Seacott and Seacotti, so I guess it's pick your poison. All right, so let's see. He will start with Gus Bell. Let's get Bob Gibson. So that'll do it for Bob Gibson. Not a great day. Could have been a lot worse. All right, so Al Seacott. We'll see if he can do better this half of the doubleheader. All right, Gus Bell is 2 for 3. He hit that big bomb back in the first. It's kind of the game difference right now, except for Joey J's pitching. 5-5, and there is another one. So he got all of that one, no doubt about it. Warwick would just admire that one, as Gus Bell has hit his second home run of the game. He's overperforming a bit. He's got 5 home runs. He only had 3 in real life. So home run number 5, and the Reds are up 5-1. Gordy Coleman, he's 2 for 3 with a double. His 11th double of the campaign. That's a 3-8, and he will hit it back up the middle. Sakati with good reflexes will stab it and throw him out one away. Frank Robinson is 0 for 1 with a couple walks. That's a 4-8, and 1-2 would have been a triple. As it is, it will be a fly out to center field for out number 2. So Warwick, he will chase that to deep right center field, as Robinson drives it the other way, but he will track it down for out number 2. All right, 2 away here. Gene Freeze is 0 for 2 with a walk. So Seacott kind of picking up from where he was last game, 3-8, and that's another bouncer back to the box. Seacott will get to that one as well, and that'll do it for the Reds, but not before they tack on an insurance run on Gus Bell's second home run of the day, 5th of the year. And we go to the 8th. It is now 5-1 Cincinnati. So you can see they have the percentage. So it looks like Cincinnati's 97% chance to win. As far as I can tell, that's the only change to the computer version this year. Kind of the laughing joke of the community about Strat's updates aren't really updates. I guess they probably have more than that, but again, I haven't looked into it, but that's the only notice. The only change I've noticed is, percentages. So you could argue whether that's worth an update or not. It is what it is. All right, so top of the 8th, we got the top of the order for the Cardinals. Gote will lead off. He is 0 for 2 with a walk. That's a 3-4, and that's a slow grounder down to second base. Gote doesn't get much of it. Blasingame will charge and throw him out. One away. Carl Warwick, he's 0 for 2 with a sacrifice bunt. 4-4, and that's a center field X. So Pinson is a 110 out there. He's been unlucky with that error rating, but he will get to this one with an 18 and a 7. So nice defense by Pinson. Tires Warwick for out number 2. Just 3 hits allowed by Jay today and 2 walks. So far Jay's had his way with the Cardinals, and see if he can get these last 4 out. So he'll focus his attention on Bill White, who's 0 for 3. 6-9, and that's hit out to center field. Pinson will get to that one as well, and that'll do it for the Cardinals in the 8th. So Joey J on cruise as he retires him in order here in the 8th. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The Reds up by 4. Got 8, 9, and 1 due up for the Reds. Al Seacott will take his place on the mound for his second inning of work. Zimmerman has doubled and scored. That was his 4th double of the year. Write that down. All right, here's the pitch from Al Seacott. 5-2. That's a second base X. As we have, actually, Shane Deese is in for second base. Shane Deese is typically a good fielder, but this is later in his career, so right now he's a 434. We get a 6, so that's not going to be, it's going to be a single, 9-11. He didn't make an error, however. So Shane Deese not able to get to that one, and Zimmerman has his second base hit of the game. Joey J. be called on to bunt here. He is a C bunter. So Cicotti throws, squares, a beauty of a bunt. Schaefer has to hurry, but he will get him out. That'll move Zimmerman to second. So sack bunt, 2-4, 1 away. And Eddie Casco with an RBI opportunity. He's 2 for 3 today with a walk, couple singles. Got his average up to 300 even. 5-4, that's a home run chance. He's a W, so it would have been a single, but he rolled a 13, so it'll be deep, but not deep enough. Again, it's just 1-8 here with the Crosley Field ballpark rating. So he will hit it to deep left field. James will get it a few steps shy of the warning track for out number 2. All right, Blasting game. He's got a sacrifice bunt and a sacrifice hit. That was his, or fly rather. That was his 11th RBI of the season. RBI opportunity here for the Cincinnati second baseman. 2 out. Zimmerman on second. 5-6. That's going to be a walk. First walk given up by Seacott. But probably not very wise. You want to take your chances with Blasting game. You don't want Pinson here. So Pinson already has an RBI single in 4 plate appearances. Here is the pitch. Seacott looking to get out of this jam. Give the Cardinals just a 4-run deficit as they head into the 9th. That's a 4-5, and he will strike him out. So walks Blasting game, but takes care of Pinson. Struck him out on a foul tip. Schaefer is able to hold on, and that'll do it for the Reds here in the 8th. No runs, a hit, no errors. They leave a couple on. We go to the top of the 9th. Cincinnati Reds 5, St. Louis Cardinals 1. All right, Ken Boyer. We got 4, 5, and 6 due up for St. Louis here in the last inning. Boyer is 0 for 3 versus Jay today. That's a 2-5, and he strikes out. So Joey J shows no signs of letting up as he is mowing down the Cardinals. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 5 of the day for Joey J. 1 away. Cardinals down to their last 2 outs. Joe Cunningham, left-handed hitting right fielder. He has the only run today as he hit a home run back in the 4th. It was his 7th of the year. The 9th given up by Joey J. Throw the dice everywhere. That's a 6-5. That's a shortstop X. This will be the second X opportunity for Casco. He made the first one. He's a 227. He gets a 17 on the 20-sided, an 8 on the air check, and he will make the play for out number 2. Cardinals down to their last out. Charlie James, left fielder. He is 1 for 2 with a single and a hit by pitch. They're going to let him hit away. Since all the Reds had 32,019 on hand for today's doubleheader, all on their feet, trying to get the Reds their second win of the day. 5-7, and that's slapped the other way to right field. Frank Robinson will get it, and that'll do it for the Cardinals here in the 9th. Good game by Joey J. So the Reds get 5 runs on 10 hits. No errors. I'd say the hitting star would be Gus Bell, as he had 2 home runs and 3 RBI. Obviously, the pitching star would be Joey J, as he pitched a great game today. The Cardinals had 1 run on 3 base hits, no errors. The Reds go to 40-23. I believe that puts them 2 games, maybe a game and a half behind the Giants. Again, excuse me, the Giants are overperforming substantially. I think they're like 5 games better than they were. Sorry, hopefully that crookedness didn't mess with people's vertigo too much. But at any rate, the Reds have 2 more versus St. Louis, Wednesday and Thursday, and then they got the Dodgers in for a 3-game set, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The Dodgers are in 3rd place. And then they go on a road trip to Chicago and Milwaukee. So that should be an exciting trip. The Reds are now 21-8 at home, so they are killing it at home. On the road, they are 19-15, which isn't bad for a road record, but at home, they are just killing it here at Crosley. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see you next time.